Yeah, Prophet Marshall Occurrence. Yeah, this video is gonna be. This was on my mind. I wanted to just go ahead and set it off. This video is gonna be about the witchcraft community, taking what comes with it. It's a term. It's a term out in the streets that's called taking what comes with it, and because these people have, the police going around sounding sirens like it's police right now sounding sirens for these little people, right? And it's just like, none of this is gonna help you. You gotta take what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Just like the streets. If you want to play that position, like y'all street people, then you gotta take what come with it. We all do. And so because they part of that, these secret societies and all of that, and you know what I'm saying, and that comes with all these perks. That's what it's all about. That's the whole reason they join it, this no scenario is no exception. You know what I'm saying, for these perceptions that they have that, I joined this secret society. I don't have to take what comes with it. I can get around this. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be subject to this. What everybody else go through, I ain't got to go through it. And then they might even say, well, what's the purpose of joining this if I got to go through what other people go through? Well, you live in the real world. That's all I can tell you. You live in the real world. And these white folks and these black people, them the main two, they not going to be able to manipulate in this situation, bro. And this is why. This is why they ain't going to be able to manipulate. Because God is on the job. God is in this situation. And there ain't no way they're gonna be able to manipulate out of this situation. See, they hung up on me. I'm just God's servant. There ain't no need to be hung up on me. You gotta take what come with this. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take what come with it. It's just like you ain't no way in the world you're gonna come out of this squeaky clean. If you come from black community, families from the black community, they'll tell you about karma. Black people got stories about karma, real stories, where people got what they deserved. And basically, that's all I'm saying. You got to get what you deserve, and especially, it's a no-brainer for most black people when it's something excessive. When you do something excessive, when it's excessive, it's just definitely true. This is definitely true. This is definitely true. There's no way around it. It's too excessive. What you've done is too excessive for you to get around it. That's the only way you can. Most people who are even kind of superstitious kind of got a belief. I can't do everything that I want to do and get away with it. Nobody believes that. No one believes that. And this situation is no different. This situation is not exception to the rules. It's not even about being vindictive. It's that people want to see you get what you really deserve. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is, man. You can't come out here in the streets and play around and then act like whatever you act like after that. It's not gonna work. It ain't about me and loving me. You ain't gotta love me. It's about people saying, you know what? Even if that person did something wrong, it still wasn't worth all of this. And that's how we win. You could be right, but guess what? You done so much that it don't even make sense according to what you was even talking about. It don't make sense. No, it don't. You one of them type of hyped up people that's influenced by these white Americans that believe in blowing up boats. They'll blow up a boat because of drug deal on the boat. I don't believe in blowing up boats because drug dealers on the boat. But you see what type of Americans that are among us. They believe if you selling drugs and It can do a lot of damage to people. Will kill you. A black person can't feel that way because it's so many drug dealers in their family. How they I mean, is it about being biased or is it having understanding? It's having understanding. When you don't understand something, you'll just kill it. Like you'll just kill a drug dealer, if you, like Trump. Instead of saying, okay, they come from poverty. They come from poverty, broken homes. I'm just saying here in America. These are one of the main reasons why they wind up doing it. So am I going, if somebody was set up to fail in the struggle of the world, and I know how much white people got money, I know all this money they got, you know what I'm saying, and somebody set up to fail, okay, I'm gonna use, even though I don't like what they do, I'm gonna use better understanding. Considering racism, considering all of this stuff too, I'm gonna put all of that in there. I ain't gonna just have the element of drug dealing. I'm gonna put all the elements in there, and then I'm gonna place a proper judgment on the situation. See, that's why you gotta have the whole truth and nothing but the truth. If you just talk about a drug dealer, okay, and what drugs do to people, you'll be walking around here like Trump, just blowing up boats. You know what I'm saying? But you know, when you realize the struggle of the world and how non-white people really struggle all their life, whole races of people struggle, and white people can just waltz into all kind of old money from their family and everything. So it's easy for them to place judgment when they come from so much money. I can't. If you don't hear anything I said about this, it's so easy for them to place judgment when they just come from so much money. And it might not be you, but it's most of these white people, and that's all I'm talking about. Don't give me a stupid answer. Well, I didn't come from money, but you're one person. You're one white person. A lot of these white people, what influenced the culture of white America is all of them coming from money. It's easy for them to sit back and say, well, you should have did this, you should do that, you should do this, you should go to school, woo, woo, woo. But that's because that's your world. That's your world that you come from. And that's not the world that everybody else come from. See, in America, there's not one world. You got the black experience and the white experience. I explain this over and over again. You got the white experience in America and the black experience. And the white experience gonna come over here and apply the white experience to black people when we can't do the same thing. When we didn't grow up the same way, when we didn't have the same options, you know what I'm saying? But they want you to just hop in their options and hop in in the white experience and how they think. They just want you to hop into it. It don't work like that. And they know that to a certain degree. They already know what they did. They already know the disadvantages that they put black people in. But they want you to hop in the white experience and just hop in like it's the bunny hop, you know what I mean? They just want you to hop in this experience. So you know, to us, we gonna pass. For me, if how I feel, especially today, I'm gonna tell you how I feel today. As of January 28th, 2026, as far as pedophiles, I personally don't care, because when it comes to it in America, because you're marrying children in this country, I can prove that. That's not conspiracy theory. You can go look it up. You can Google it. You can see the numbers. You can see how many times, all the people they married, what ages they married, the various ages they married. Okay, there's no conspiracy theory. That's number one. And that's almost too good to be true for a lot of people. You can't believe it. Okay, how long you gonna say you can't believe it? How long you gonna say you can't believe it until you adjust to the situation? I can't believe this. I can't. How long you gonna say that, man? How long you gonna stay stuck? I can't believe this. It's almost like saying I can't believe it is a Jedi mind trick for, because you ain't accepting it, you ain't addressing the situation. All you're doing is just saying, I can't believe it. That's like almost a Jedi mind trick. Because they ain't talking about what, they ain't saying what should happen to the people. My question is, what should happen to America for coming out here talking about pedophiles and doing all these operations, and then we find out they marrying children? In that order. They came out here talking about pedophiles, then we find out they're marrying children. What should happen to them? Nothing should happen to them. And that's why it's a war. No, bro. Listen, you can't come out here talking about no child molesters and whatever and you insinuated that and you play yourself and then realize y'all was marrying children. You feel me? Nah, you can know something's supposed to happen to you because you was insinuating something's supposed to happen to us. So that was the insinuation. Something was supposed to happen to us if we was guilty with these children, right? Okay, so now that we got you in the same situation as a whole collective community, marrying these children, marrying them now, what's supposed to happen to you? And that's how we look at it as racism. This is what we see racism with justice and injustice. That's how we look at it. It's another case of injustice versus justice. Injustice versus justice, and the racist dynamic applies in the situation. Because when we find that they're doing the same thing, quiet is kept, even from black people. They ain't saying nothing about the Americans marrying children, but they was ready, they was up in arms against you and me. This is other black people. They was up in arms against me and you, right? But then when they find out white master is marrying children, oh, they don't got nothing to say. They really quiet as kept for that. That's how you know they slaves. Because they ain't got the same energy when it comes to white people doing this stuff. Oh, white people can do it, but let a black man do it. His own people is gonna act like he the worst thing walking the earth. And then when you find out America marrying children, the same people that's black ain't got nothing to say. They gonna say the exact words. I don't have nothing to say. But at first you did. When it came to a black man, you had a lot to say. So, me personally, I'm just like every other legend. Just like the Pacs and the Malcolm X's and everybody else. You might not be brave enough to follow me. You might not be brave enough to go down my path. But this is a path I gotta go down on my own, even if I do. Gotta be alone. I gotta go down this path on my own because ain't no way in the world I'm gonna let somebody play with my integrity and then we find out they marrying children and then nobody act like, and they insult my intelligence like you don't know what that means. That means they've been having sex with these children the whole time. That means they could have never came out here against me or anybody else. That's what it means. And that includes the feds. That includes everybody you scared of as authority. That's what mind boggles even black people, because they never seen somebody have it this good against the feds. You ain't never seen nobody have the feds, especially American feds, this good and the jam this good. It's unbelievable to you. You can't believe it. But see, once again, that's your hang up. That's not my hang up. It's too good to be true for you, but it ain't nothing. But it's true. But to you, it's too good to be true. But you stuck there. That's the truth. You stuck there. It's too good to be true for you. Then you got some black people like they ready to jump on the bed. Yeah. They married children. That's right. They don't care how good. They just glad we got something on these white people. They glad we finally got something on these sellout Americans. You know what I'm saying? Talking about pedophiles, and then you find out they marrying children. No, why would we let it go without money? That's what. Ask yourself that. You wouldn't let it go without money. No. What's supposed to happen to these people? That's the point. What we on? What we supposed to be at peace with them? Hold hands with them? And they wrong? So almost like we just look at that, bruh. That's racism. But when they're wrong, we supposed to get along with them. That's the opposite. That's the opposite of what's supposed of the outcome that we was looking for, that anybody was looking for. We supposed to get along with them when they wrong. Oh, we get to be cool with them when they wrong. We get to be cool with. You see how narcissistic that is? Well, they cool with us now. Oh, I'm cool with you. No, bro, we want a bag. You caught red-handed, marrying children. But because you narcissistic, we supposed to be. We just be glad we cool with you. You see, that's the insinuation. Just be glad you cool with America. Stay dumb like the slaves, and you don't really know what's going on, and turn the blind eye to y'all, to us marrying children. But we came out here with arms ready to kill for children. But then we found out we was slipping. We realized America was doing stuff they didn't tell us they was doing, and you can't even look them in the face and find what they doing. When we talk about this, can we put a face with this? Like the person that's guilty of this way of thinking. Who's the person guilty? Can we look that person in their face that's guilty of this way of thinking? Wouldn't you want to look that person in the face? They want to look us in the face, don't they? You want to look me in the face. You want to look me in the face. I want to look the person in the face that made child marriage laws. I want to look that guy in the face. I want to look him in. I want him to be on the video. I want him on the video. Don't you want to look at the guy that made laws to marry children? He's still here. Oh, you don't think he's still here? Well, you passed new child marriage laws six years ago. How he's not still here? Oh, you didn't go and try to find out who it was yet? But you tried to find out who I was yet, didn't you? You ain't try to go find out who he was. But you try to find out who I was. You already know they passed new laws to marry children. You know how many people helped pass them new laws? Hundreds of people. I mean, when you understand the process of passing laws, how many people you think helped pass the law? One person. If you understand laws in the judicial system, it was hundreds of people that helped pass them laws. Okay, so they was aware of what they was doing, right? Why we can't go find them people and look them in their face? They're out there. But you supposed to be smarter than me. Y'all supposed to be more competent than me. I just told you somebody's out there that passed laws 6 years ago. How did he just fly off the earth? When did he just, how could he fall off the earth from 6 years ago? So let's understand this. These child marriage laws, the new ones, was passed 6 years ago. To date, right? You think all them hundreds of people are dead that passed the laws? Of course they not. So why we can't look them up like everybody else do? They look up everybody else. Why we can't look them up? Americans can find all these people in law, all these, they can look them up and find where they live at. So why you didn't do this? Why you didn't do it when it came to this? Because you still biased towards America. That's what it is. That's all. That's why you ain't went that far. You tell me why you ain't went that far. because you influenced by white America, where this is our country. You just don't know what my grandfather did. You just don't know what my great-great-great. I don't care what your great-great-grandfather did. I don't care because it didn't apply to me. It didn't make my life better. It made your white life better. It didn't make mine better. That's why there's the white experience in America and the black experience, and white Americans are going to look at all the stuff that their parents and forefathers did and how it made their life better. That's why it's in their heart like that. It should be in their heart. I'm not saying that part is wrong, but it don't apply to us. It don't apply to me. And they don't get that. They sit around looking at you after they done ate all that good food. Yeah, how you doing? You barely eating, right? They looking at you like you live the same experience they live in America. Hey, how you doing? How's America? You love the country, don't you? That's why black people be looking the way they do. That's why the lady from Somalia, Miss Omar, that's why she always talking about the Constitution and always talking about stuff like that. And Trump is mocking her. Every time he talk about her, he always talking about how she talk about the Constitution. That's what she's supposed to talk about, living the black experience here in America. You wouldn't understand being a white America. You just hide behind being white America. This woman got to stand up and make sure, she being treated according to the Constitution. That's right. Because people get laxed and they ain't gonna treat you right. So how you make them treat you right? You hold them to the Constitution. That's right. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Not somebody's opinion, not the present day politician's opinion. You got to go past these present day people who get it twisted and get it all messed up. You got to go back to the forefathers of America, and the only way you can do that is through the Constitution, with the real intentions. Now, does it apply to us? It doesn't all the way apply. It's never going to apply totally, but you still can hold people to the standards they set for themselves and show them how they're hypocrites. Show them how they contradict themselves. If you break people's constitutional rights, how are you American? Well, desperate times is desperate measures. Nah, that's incompetency. I smell incompetency. Because the forefathers didn't mean for you to be able to break people's constitutional rights in order to do your job as an official of America, as an authority of America. The fine print ain't, these the constitutional rights, but during desperate times and desperate measures, you can break people's constitutional rights. That's not how. See, that's the incompetency of the present generations of America. You can't break nobody's rights because you're incompetent, and you can't stick to the rules, which is the Constitution. Once you break constitutional rights, how are you going to esteem yourself as American? Because what defines us as Americans? We got the black experience and the white experience. So you talk to a white person, America is something different than when you talk to a black person. So then somebody that's not from America will be confused between the white experience and the black experience. You talk to a black man, America's going to be totally different. Like, wow, I don't know if I want to live here. He gonna tell you how he treated. He gonna tell you everything that's going on, the poverty and everything, how he treated as a black man. If you look at it from a black perspective, America's not no good. Now, the only way you're gonna see America's good is if you talk to white people. That's what they're gonna do to the foreigners. They gonna show them the white experience. They not gonna show the black experience. Think about it. It's just like being at a job site. The big wigs come around, inspection come around. You're going to put your best foot forward, right? So you're going to show the white experience of America. You ain't going to show how you kicking around these black people. No, you ain't going to show that part. You ain't gonna show all these injustices that black people went through. You go when you talk to foreign people and people from all around the world. What you're projecting when you talk about America is the white experience. That's what you gonna project to the people. You ain't gonna show them all the injustices and things that black people go through. You gonna put your best foot forward and show them the white experience. That's what I'm talking about. So then what makes us all American by one bond? Because the experience is not the bond. You got the white experience and the black experience. So that's not the bond. That bonds us all is this experience. So what bonds us? What's supposed to is the Constitution. And if you break constitutional rights, and that's what defines us and bonds us as Americans, how can you call yourself American? If what defines us as Americans, because the experience don't define us, so we can't go with the experience. Oh, because you got the white experience and the black experience, right? Okay, so what is going to define us as Americans when we don't have the same experience? It can't be the experience. You can't define America by experiences because there's more than one. So you can't say the white experience and and project that, and that doesn't work for black experience and black people. It doesn't work for them. Okay, so because it doesn't work for us, you can't go tell the world that all the Americans are living like this white guy. We're not all living like him. So then, how do we project? How do we define what it is to be American when everybody doesn't have the same experience? Everybody don't have the same experience, right? So if a white man go tell these other different people, the Asians and the Africans from different countries, what it is to be in America, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, that's good. But then they get over here, they see the black people and how they get treated and everything, harassed and under surveillance, like the sirens. That's them right there. Okay, so like all these people get put under surveillance. The white Americans are not going through that up until now. Maybe now they're going through it, but we've been going through it. So my point is, you can't define America by one experience like you could do with other countries. Other countries, they might have class as an issue. You know what I'm saying? They might have certain class issues. They gonna have you gonna have certain issues, right? You're gonna have two people complaining. You're gonna have two sides. You're gonna have everybody's not getting the same portion, But this is not usually defined by race all the time. Especially, obviously, when most people in other countries is dominantly they the same race, right? This is a melting pot, right? So it's really not race is the reason why. There's other issues. Certain parties they choose, governmental parties. What their worldviews are and what style of government they choose. Those are the issues they deal with. Here, it's more complex than just being a Democrat and a Republican. You have the white experience and the black experience, whether you a Democrat or a Republican or not, or a Christian or not. Even as a Christian, this is why I still have to address this, because these people gonna see you as a black man first. That's the first thing they gonna see. They ain't gonna know you a Christian. How they gonna know you a Christian? If you walking down the street, how they gonna know you a Christian? But they gonna know you a black man first. So they can see you from 50 feet away and begin to line you up with the black experience, not even knowing you a Christian. But they see you from 50 feet away and they know how they gonna treat you when you pass. They know how they about to treat you. No, I'm talking about if you see people in public, they see you 50 feet away, and what's the first thing they see? That you are black, that you are African, you are of African descent. You about to be treated like that based on however they want to treat you. Most likely, most Americans are going to treat you based on. Many of them are going to treat you based on what race you are. Yeah. And how they gonna know you a Christian in public? and you could have a Jesus shirt on. Americans ain't gonna believe you a Christian just because you got a Jesus shirt on, or you got a cross around your neck. They ain't gonna believe you a Christian because of that. It ain't. And let's put it like this: it ain't gonna influence them. It ain't gonna influence them to treat you differently. That's 7 out. It ain't gonna influence them to treat you differently because you a Christian. They still gonna treat you like a black man. That's the bottom line. Even if they do find out you're a Christian, they gonna treat you differently. Oh, you're a Christian. Oh, okay. They gonna treat you differently. These racist people gonna treat you. No, they not. They gonna treat you like a black man regardless. Regardless. And see, that's the part that we are never gonna get past. And so guess what? This is where it gets tricky. Even if you don't get along with other black people, you still live the black experience. Well, or unless you delusional, you think because you not really with black people. Let's just say you are a real sellout, or you're Uncle Tom. You think because you're Uncle Tom, you ain't gonna live the black experience. You still gonna live the black experience to some of these white people. Maybe not all of them, but you gonna live the black experience to most of them. You still gonna be a black man to them, cause that's all they gonna see at face value. In public, they ain't gonna know you a sellout. Hey, they ain't gonna know you a sellout. They ain't gonna know you one of them. They ain't gonna know you looking at things they way. All they gonna see at face value is what they see with all of us, that you black. That's why the worst thing you can have in the country is racism, because at face value, you ain't giving the benefit of the doubt at face value. You gonna get hate, discrimination, and everything at face value without even knowing who you are. They ain't gonna know who you are. You ain't gonna get a chance for them to know who you are. And if you think it's gone, I can show you every year how you're subject to an individual discrimination. See, that's where it gets more tricky. As a black person, you can say, "Oh, we've heard this a million times." Oh, listen. You got to listen to the prophet from a whole different ear. You're still subject to individual discrimination at any given time. It never goes away. It's never going to go away. So even though the conditions may get better in America, you're still subject as a black man or black woman to individual discrimination. That's never going to go away. So it don't matter how good it gets. It don't matter what they do in this country. You're still going to be subject to individual discrimination. Where you want me to give you an example just in case you don't really understand. Okay, well, all it takes is one crazy redneck. All it takes is one crazy redneck to be against you as an individual with a gun, and he got a gun, and it doesn't matter how the world is going, does it? It doesn't matter how America is going. This happens every year. You could be one individual. All you need is another a crazy individual that's a redneck or whatever. And listen, you're subject to individual discrimination. And it don't matter what you see on TV. Well, I thought it was getting good. Well, it can get good all it want. It can get good all it want. You still gonna be subject to an individual experience in America where you could be subject to racism individually. And then it doesn't work for you, now does it? You can't completely let your guard down. No, you can't. You gotta keep in mind that you still live in a racist world because you can be discriminated against individually. You're never free in terms of this. When all it takes is one whacked out person to discriminate against you for whatever reason. And Hispanic and Latinos, you need to hear this more than ever. Because you the one that they targeting right now. Listen, buddy. It can get good in the world all day long. I don't care what's going on all day long. Now that they hate these Hispanic and Latinos, you could be subject to discrimination on an individual basis. Look at what ICE is going doing to the people. You gonna look at TV and say, well, we all together. We're all doing good. You gonna look at movies and music and all of that stuff and see how these Latino girls and these black dudes videos and all of that shaking their butt on these black dude videos. You gonna and you know these Latino women and these white boys penthouses downtown in Manhattan. You gonna look at movies like that and think we ahead and we doing good, or you gonna realize that you still subject to discrimination individually as an individual, which means it can happen at any given time. You will never overcome that. Nobody. If you're not white, you're never going to overcome some individual experience where you could be subject to racism at any given time, where it could take your life. So we can never stop being. You see why we can never stop being like this? Because if not for any other reason, for individual sake. See, you looking at everything in the collective state, collectively what's going on. What's going on collectively? So, you got the collective experience in America, you got the individual experience in America. Collectively, things can get better. Individually, you can never let your guard down totally. You can never let your guard down totally, but you know why? Because all it takes is one whacked out redneck and it's over for you. That's all it takes. One whacked out redneck and it's over. And for Hispanic and Latinos, you need to be on your P's and Q's more than black people right now. Well, ICE and yeah. You need to be on your P's and Q's more than everybody right now. You don't know. Listen, these people don't listen. They looking at race, and it ain't no secret. It ain't no secret they looking at race. You got to be on your P's and Q's. Until indefinitely. Let's put it like that. You got to be on your P's and Q's indefinitely, like us. Because now they got their worldviews have changed concerning you. They used to esteem, even white boys used to think, oh, Hispanic Latinos work hard, etc., woo, right? You can't even think like that no more. That's how they see you. Because now they see you as a problem because of these illegal migrants. So now you got to look for these you got to be on you keep your head on the swivel and your brain on the swivel, like I like to say. You got to keep your brain on the swivel. You got to keep your cranium on the swivel, and you got to keep your brain on the swivel when you deal with these rednecks out here. You might see some whacked out redneck cross the street and you don't realize he looking at you. He's sizing you up because you Hispanic or Latino. You gotta have your whole head on the swivel now, buddy. And that goes for women too. Oh, you think because you're cute, you can go shake it around a little bit. Put your sugar biscuit in the air. Put your powdered sugar biscuit in the air. You think you put your sugar biscuit in the air, everything gonna be good, huh? You can put your powdered sugar biscuit in the air, buddy. Listen, I'm telling you. These dudes is whacked out. These people whacked out, man. They don't care nothing about you looking good as a Latina. You know what I mean? You going out here looking good and everything. You know, you going out there fresh in the morning and looking good. They don't care nothing about that. They looking at you like you dirty anyway. And they trying to make us feel it's all these stereotypes. That's why we got to cleanse ourselves. You know what I'm saying? You got to cleanse yourself from all these stereotypes. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you feel, you got to cleanse yourself. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you got to keep the right perspective on what's going on around you, man. You know what I'm saying? That's real. That's real, man. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way around this individual experience. And that's all I'm talking about as a soldier. A soldier is going to go by his individual experience anyway. As a soldier, I'm not going by none of this stuff out here. You know what I'm going by? How I'm going to be treated as an individual. That's what I'm looking at. Yeah. You know, the more I'm going to do a whole video on this. The more time goes by, why would you be thinking about the individual, the collective community anymore? Why would you be thinking collectively anymore? Black people don't get along. We ain't together like we supposed to be. that ain't going. So you can't be collective there. Not really. Not really. I mean, so if you can't be collective with black people, then where you gonna be collective? Where else you gonna be collective? In other words, where else you gonna look at this community of America as in terms of groups of people, or whole groups? How you gonna look at whole groups and consider whole groups of people when you make your opinion or form your opinion? You got to walk around as an individual. As time gets worse and worse, think about it. Times is so bad, you can't trust nobody. So how you gonna be collective in your mindset? The more time goes by, you can't even be collective. You think I'm just talking, don't you? You think I just woke up with some words to say, don't I? Hey, it sounds so good. They think I just woke up with some words. He just saying something. It sounds good, but it ain't nothing. What you mean it ain't nothing? It means it's the listen. You know how many people is suffering for not understanding individuality, for not understanding you an individual, and you can't go by none of this stuff you see on the internet and none of this stuff you see on TV. You can't go by that. You crazy if you do. Because I'm not saying walk in fear. I'm not saying speak this to it, manifest in your life. I'm saying use wisdom. Look around. Keep your brain on the swivel. That means think a little deeper. That means put on your thinking cap. Consider history. Consider patterns of history. You see all this stuff going on individually, where individuals are still going through racism every year. Okay, what that tells you? Oh, okay. You're still subject to racism as an individual. Even though it might get better for black people as a group, it don't get better for you as an individual, because all it takes in the case of an individual is one crazy person. That's all it takes. It doesn't take 10 people. It doesn't take 50 people. For the collective black community, one person can't really do nothing. So you can say, well, things getting better for us collectively. See, that's what some pro-black people gonna tell you. That's 7 out. Some pro-black people gonna say, well, let's get good for black people collectively. They'll even say it. Collectively as a community, things are getting better for us. Oh, really? Okay. Not individually. What you mean? Well, listen, all it takes is one whacked out person out here, and it don't matter how good things are. See, that's how your teachers should be raising you as a black man or a black woman. That's not keeping you. See, they gonna say, well, this is not a progressive message. I don't care if it is or not. It's a survival message. It's a message for my survival. That part. That's what it is. And you can act like I'm well, you blame it. I'm not blaming. See, you can't listen to the prophet like you listen to everybody else. I'm not blaming nobody. I'm looking at what it is. If I step outside and I could be subject to racism at any given time, I'm talking about just some weird, bizarre stuff, right? Might involving the police or just some weird stuff. You listen. What you talking about? How am I talking about blaming the white man? Because you got some people say, yeah, you're blaming the man. You're blaming the man. You're blaming the man. You got them type of people. Here we go, blaming the man again. I'm not blaming the man. I'm subject to individual discrimination. And I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying in wisdom, it could happen. So I have to carry myself, even if I get along, if I don't even, and this is where the plot thickens. Even if I don't get along with other black people, you still gonna be subject to the individual discrimination. You still could be subject to it. Because some people act like, well, you know, this person don't even deal with black people. What are they talking about? I'm talking about my own experience when I step out these doors. That's what I'm talking about. That's how you know a person ain't no sellout. You know why? Because they still realize they black. The person that's a sellout will deny their blackness totally. Like they ain't black no more. Like they ain't gotta be black out here in the streets. They ain't gonna talk about that part. If they do think about it, if they do know, they ain't gonna talk about it. Well, when you gonna hear Uncle Tom talking about, oh wait, you know, I'm black out here. You know, I still got black experience out here in the black. You think the black Uncle Tom gonna say, I still live according to the black experience? You think the Uncle Tom gonna say that? A sellout? You think a sellout gonna say, well, you know, I'm still black. I can still go through some stuff. He's not, even though he might think about that, he's not gonna talk about it. That's the bottom line. He ain't gonna talk about that. Man. You're still subject to the black experience. That's what we talking about here. If you break the constitutional rights of Americans, you are not American to me. Your excuse, I already know what your excuse gonna be. Well, desperate times to save my country, you know, I gotta cut some corners. Nah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, buddy. The Constitution was not made with you being able to cut corners and break the constitutional rights. It considered that you will be competent enough to do your job without cutting corners. That's how we know who's competent and incompetent. Whether you're able to do your job as authorities without cutting corners, without breaking constitutional rights. You got to break constitutional rights, right? You're incompetent. That's the truth. And that's why you got to see, anytime somebody got to manipulate, they're incompetent. Even if you're poor, right? That's financial incompetency, right? That we go through. So some people, not everybody, got to go out here and manipulate and steal and get what they want. Because any level of incompetency, there's going to be manipulation. Even if you're a man that got erectile dysfunction, okay, you got to manipulate. Anytime there's any level of even sexual incompetency, you got to manipulate the situation. If you out here and you can't get it up, you got to manipulate, don't you? If you are the authorities and you really don't know the science of catching criminals, you haven't studied the science. Not body language. Body language don't mean nothing in 2026. People are on too many drugs to read body language. People mind too messed up to read body language. I know all about body language. Well, 20% of communication is verbal. The other 80% is nonverbal. The other 80% is nonverbal. Man, people are so whacked out. How you gonna read body language in 2026? That's gone. That's out the window. You can't read no body language these days. That people on so many pills and drugs and everything whacked out in their mind. How you gonna? Who still read body language? People mind too crazy. People going through too much. I ain't gonna read nobody body language. I don't know what they going through. And how you first figure that out? Yourself. You realize yourself. Sometimes I might do stuff that might look crazy because I'm thinking about something else. I'm doing something else. Something else is on my mind. So I might swoop back around, walk around for different reasons. Okay, to you, that means something else, don't it? But I know what it means. Like I like to say, as long as I know what it means, it ain't crazy. I know what it means. You don't know what it means, right? Okay. I do videos, right? People hear me in here talking, right? They might not realize I'm doing videos. Okay, but I know what I'm doing, so it's not crazy to me, is it? Okay, somebody listening out there will think, oh, he's just talking to himself. But it's crazy to you. It's not, but I know what I'm doing in here. I know what's actually going on. But you might think I'm talking to myself, and I'm gonna put this on YouTube where it can go all around the world. And people have the opportunity to listen to the video. But you don't know that I'm doing that, right? So to you, it might sound crazy, right? To me, it's not crazy because I know what I'm doing. And that goes to anything. As long as you know what you're doing, it's not crazy to you. It's not crazy to you. Yeah, man. You know, people out here slipping, playing games. God's true people is the ones that's going to tell the truth about this whole situation. These people came out here the ICE agents. Let's talk about that. These ICE agents are out here, right? Those people are like the police. They're like the police. They in other words, they have the attitude of an American police. I already knew they was gonna be doing what they doing, killing people and everything. I already knew that was gonna happen. Cause how you gonna just come out here and you don't know who's who. You don't know who it is. You don't know who's really illegal or not. How you gonna know? Anybody can see this coming. It's common sense. How you gonna know who's illegal and not? That's a mess. and then add to the fire that they gotta go by race. These people got American cop attitude. You know, they gotta pick these people out by their race. That's what they ain't gonna tell you that. Read between the lines. They ain't stopping no white woman and asking her is she illegal or not. Come on, man. That's common sense. You think they gonna waste their time asking a white woman if can he see her ID and is she illegal? He's wasting time. He ain't gonna. In other words, this is the bottom line. Is he gonna ask everybody outside? He gonna ask everybody outside where you come from? No, that's a negative. He ain't gonna ask everybody outside where they come from. No. He gonna pick individuals that look foreign by ethnicity. They gonna see people that look foreign by ethnicity. They done got a niche for it. Think about it. You see people that don't kind of look like they blend in with the community by ethnicity. That's who you gonna come up to. That's real though. That's who they gonna do it. Somebody that look kind of exotic, they don't look like they from around the area. That's who they gonna look. They ain't seen that kind of look around the area. Boom, that's who they going after right there, buddy. But even with that being said, if you don't really know the city the city life, it's all type of exotic people in our community that come from all different countries and everything, right? Especially New York, especially. That's where it gets real tricky. New York is full of every ethnicity you could think about here. It's always like that. It's gonna be like that. ICE can't really come to New York. It'll be a problem to come to New York. It's too many exotic people. If you go by facial features, that's what they're going by. What else you think they're going by? Oh, how to do walk? Well, he kind of walked like he's a foreigner. He didn't walk all the way on the side of the sidewalk like we do as Americans. He didn't pardon this other guy. He just walked in the middle of the he just walked in the middle of the sidewalk like an idiot. That's how we know he's come on, how you gonna know? The truth is, man, the truth is, if you ain't realized it yet, they gotta racially profile people. That's common sense. But if they say that to the public, it's already a red flag for ICE. But how else they gonna do it? They gotta racially profile people. And that's a subject worth looking into and being educated on in this time and place and time. Because that's all they doing is racially profiling people. How else they gonna do it? They ain't gonna tell you how they. What you think ICE gonna sit in front of you and say, well, we looking at people that look kind of exotic from different countries. You will hit the roof. What? What you mean? You looking at people from different? But that's what they doing. They gotta look at people from different. They looking at people that look like their ethnicity is not really from around where we living at, from around their area. That's what they looking at. Especially like Minneapolis. Minneapolis is black and white basically. You know what I mean? Come on, that's Minneapolis. And so when people they see exotic people, they going after that, man. They going after the most beautiful looking women. I hate to tell you, but they going because the more exotic, the more better, right or wrong. Oh, come on, bro. Come on. The more exotic, the more beautiful. They going after these exotic women. These exotic men and women. That's what they're going to do. I'm telling you, that's what they're gonna do. They can't. They ain't gonna waste no time looking at no question some white guy. Well, hey, are you from America? Think about. In the beginning, they probably did, but come on, man. You know how much time you gonna waste? As soon as you get in the groove, all you doing. I'm being real. You get in the groove, you gonna get a niche for like a certain look that don't look like it's from America. Or at least we don't see enough of that kind of look around here. But you see how racist that almost sounds? It's almost racist just saying that, right? We don't see this look around here. Sound like a white man, don't it? Well, we ain't seen that look around here. We don't know, we ain't seen that look around here, man. We ain't seen your look. Basically, they saying we ain't seen your look around here. That's how you gotta look at it. The insinuation is we ain't seen your look around here, buddy. That's that part. We ain't seen your look around here. You don't look familiar around here. You don't look like a normal person from around here. That's why this stuff popping off. Now you see all you did. You giving racist people the time of their life, buddy. They get the time of their life. Now they can finally just profile people. Hey, you don't want to look at it that way, do you? Now finally they can profile people. I can just look at a guy from his race. Finally. I can just step on the scene and just look at somebody on his race and just say, hey, I can finally do that. That's what's going on. That's what's going on, bro. But see, man, this is how I feel on the whole subject. While we on the subject of the migrants and ICE and all of that, illegal immigration, migration, however you like to put it. Migrants, immigrants, however you like to put it. People are so racially sensitive, you gotta even be careful. People might think you're being racist by calling somebody a migrant. Or an illegal migrant. Or an alien. I don't know, man. But I'm telling you this. The Hispanic and Latino community, I can't stress this enough. They should have came earlier in the earlier times, back in at least by 2023. At the top of 2023, they when that stuff was going, when the surges of illegal migrants was coming here, they should have stood up for their people and said, we love all people from our ethnicity, our tribe, in other words. But we can't let y'all destroy all the reputation we work for in America by coming here illegally. It's a right way to do it. And give people examples. My parents show a line of people. I'm talking, this is supposed to be like this is supposed to be like 5 hours long. You take time to talk to your people.
You have like some Hispanic or Latino kind of meat conference. That's what we call it. And you show people that came to this country and pursued the American dream and came here and got legal migration properly and did it right, and they got successful businesses, they got families. Show illegal migrants how it's done, because maybe they feel like they can't do it that way. Some people feel challenged, like maybe it's too hard, I can't do it. For real, that's easy to understand. After all, this is America. You might think you got some crazy stuff to go through. You might think you got it's a tedious process. That's the whole thing. That's the better term to use. You might think it's a tedious process. So then you bring Hispanic or Latinos that have been successful, that came to this country legally, and how they did it the right way, and you put an emphasis in this conference that this is the way we want you to do it. We love our people, but we cannot get our reputation destroyed and our rights destroyed because you didn't do it the right way. Because you don't want to do it the right way. So what I'm gonna do? Voucher for you, and then you're destroying our reputation at the speed of light. Through all these crimes, through all the stuff. So then we see who's on our side and who's not. Because you gonna come here and mess up our reputation, raping the women and raping the kids and killing people. You messing up our reputation. I don't care where you come from. You smart enough to know you know you're messing up our reputation. That's real. That's real. That's what you tell them, just like that, buddy. See, that's what we would do as black people. Yeah, you messing up my reputation, buddy. Yeah, that's real. I love my people, but hey, you gotta do it the right way. You gotta do it the right way, bro. And if you don't, listen, man, we don't support that at all. We don't support that at all, nope. And then you come in here raping the kids and all of that stuff, and there's evidence of that, raping these white girls. The worst thing you could have did was try to kill a white girl. That's the worst thing. So you send out an international message to everybody everywhere, don't come here the wrong way and mess up our reputation. They get that on ground level as criminals and everything in between before they even come here. That becomes the culture of understanding, the cultural understanding that we as Hispanic and Latinos don't want you here doing crimes, messing up our reputation. And we don't care. We ain't gonna ride with you as our people when you don't act like our people. And then the thing about it, they raping Latino girls too. Latina girls. Yeah. They coming here raping your kids and you trying to vouch for them. Oh, right in Queens. Dude raped a little girl. She was like, what, 13 at best? She was Latino. She wasn't no white girl. So you're vouchering for people that come here and rape your daughters. Your daughters now, they gonna blend in with your family. They gonna blend in with your community and they gonna rape your daughters. It's already proof of it. They already done it. That's all you need to see. What else you need to see? You should have came out and been done told them, yo, you can't come here like that, bro. We ain't gonna hide you, we ain't gonna help you, we ain't gonna do nothing for you. You come here doing crimes against our people, no, we not gonna help you. We ain't gonna help you. Okay? And that wasn't said good enough. No, it wasn't. And then it wasn't said in the right time when they were just coming here before all this stuff happened. You should have said that around 2022, 2023. Any year, you pick which one. Y'all should have started talking about that. Y'all just sat back and watched, and you just naturally gravitated towards your own people. That's what you did. That's what the most normal. That's what everyday people gonna do. You're gonna gravitate and vouch for your people. The problem with that in this situation is that's what provoked ICE in all this situation against everybody. Now ICE against you too. ICE walking around profiling you, and you born and raised here. That's what I'm talking about. Now it's a problem for you. That's what I'm saying. This is obvious that this was coming. Now it's a problem for you, buddy. And so you might get points for keeping loyalty, but look at all else. You look at all the other stuff you got to go through, and you can justify your loyalty to your people because look at how ICE is anyway. But the bottom line is you need somebody to weed out these illegal migrants that's raping these girls. You need that done. Yes, that's right. And you can't say, oh, this is a gimmick, or I'm just talking, I don't mean it from the heart. See, what you're worried about is, am I sincere? Who cares if I'm sincere? I'm right. You can walk away with this information and do something with it, whether I'm sincere or not. Well, is he sincere? Is his heart in the right place? I mean, who cares if my heart's in the right place? I'm right. That's what I am. And you ain't paying attention to that. You should have been checked them people. But see, I told y'all as Hispanic and Latinos don't have no politicians. You need politicians in America. You can't be here and have no politicians. Why you think we like this? Why you think we so combative? We've been trained. This is the best of us are like this. We're combative because this is the only way you be built in America. You can't live here docile. You can't live here just working and docile. In a perfect world, you can do that. How do you think we become built like this? We learn to fight back. That's how you know somebody American. Oh, he argues a lot. He seems argumentative. Yeah, he's an American. He talks about laws all the time. Yeah, he's an American. Do you see what I'm saying? It's part of the style. It's part of us. We become built like this where we get our own politicians. Like I told you before, your politicians are your lawyers for your country, your community. Soon as something crazy happens, oh, bring out the lawyers. Bring out the lawyers. Yeah, man, yeah, this stuff happened right here. That's the politicians. The politicians are the ones that do that. We gonna come out and talk about the liabilities. And we gonna talk to our own people. In America, you got to have politicians. I don't care what race you are, you gotta have them. And the more dense the population, the more so you gotta have them, buddy. And as dense as your population is, as Hispanic and Latinos, you should have had a Malcolm X and an MLK, a Mexican Malcolm X and a Mexican MLK. I'm gonna tell you why you didn't get one. Because you felt like you sidestepped all these problems, and all you had to do, and you kind of did. All you had to do was come in and work for like decades and decades, and you ducked all the stuff that black people go through. You ducked all them politics. And how we know? Because you ain't had nobody ringing the alarm from your community. You would have been had somebody ringing the alarm. You ducked for decades all the stuff that we had to go through out here. That's why we built like this. That's why by the time I'm my age, like I am now, I've been built like this for quite some time now, man. We gotta be as black people. Now you see why we like this. Now you see why we argument, when you might think it's combative or argumentative. You gotta be like this. This is the only way you get taken seriously in America. If you're not like this, these people, and you don't follow the chain of command, listen, you're gonna get ran over. And now look at the situation. Now, see, you got these illegal migrants in here, and you ain't got no politicians. AOC ain't saying she should be. Listen, she ain't doing half of what she should be doing as a Latina woman. She knows she not. She should be up talking about how these illegal migrants should be coming here like that and do it the right way. Do it the right way. You can come here, just do it the right way. Don't mess up our reputation. But see, you gonna go either one way or the other. You're gonna go with just vouchering off of somebody being your ethnicity, that's what most of y'all did, or you're making it good for the ethnicity that's here, the foundation of what is here, the foundation of your people here. You making sure that's good. You ain't gonna throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean. You can't just say, well, I'm just gonna go with my people, and I don't care about, I don't care what goes on. I don't care about the foundation that we got over here, where we work for decades and decades of good respect. That's the baby. The baby, throwing out the baby in the bathwater is, in your case, is all your reputation you work for. You throwing that out by going with the illegal migrants and vouching for them and holding loyalty to them. You throwing the baby out with the bathwater, all the work ethic and everything you proved. We all know you can work. As a Hispanic or Latinos, we all know that. That's part of your culture. But that's getting thrown out with the baby. That's getting thrown out like a baby with the bathwater. Because you siding with them. You siding with illegal people. Silence gives consent. Silence gives consent in this situation. Yeah, it does. Silence gives consent, man. You gotta say, yo. I have no problem with y'all coming here, but you can't destroy our reputation. See, y'all didn't have no Malcolm X, Mexican Malcolm X, or Mexican MLK, because you really didn't need to fight specifically for yourselves like as hard as we had to. So your kids wasn't interested in it. Your kids wasn't like, hey, wait, hold up. That's our people. That never really happened. That time never came. That time never came with kids, teenagers and 20-somethings was watching TV and they like, hey, well, hold up, that's our people. It never happened over the years. And that's why you never got a Hispanic or Latino Malcolm X or MLK here in America. You can't show me one. Now, you can show me all the people that did great things. Of course you're going to do that. But you know what I mean, man. Don't be so smart, just stupid, right? You know what I mean. You ain't got somebody like Malcolm X or MLK. No, you don't. No, you don't. And you need it more than ever. See, you didn't need it. You didn't need it. There was no necessity for it. And that's why it wasn't produced. Now it's a necessity for it. Now these kids, Hispanic and Latinos, gonna be watching the news, going into politics and everything. From this point on, yeah, now. But you need that in place now. They getting ready, but you need it now. See? It's crazy. It's crazy, man. That's why, like, this is the worst time in America right now. This is the worst time. It's the worst time because white people want all of this gone magically. And that's not good. They ain't trying to drag this on. In fact, let me give you a time frame of how long they trying to get rid of this. They trying to get rid of this in the same duration of Trump's administration. That means the next 3 years they trying to get rid of this. Because they know whoever they bring in there next ain't going to be built like Trump. They ain't going to be trying to wield around ICE everywhere and put them in different cities and all this stuff, how he doing everything. Tearing down sanctuary cities and the policy of that. Hey, these politicians ain't built like that, man. That's why Trump might get a third term, because everybody gonna realize we gonna fall off a cliff after Trump. As far as manhandling this and manhandling that, you ain't gonna have none of that going on. That's why it's a love and hate relationship that the Americans have with Trump. Because the reason why it's a love and hate relationship, because I mean, he's doing stuff, and they love it. He's actually coming in the White House and doing things. I told you, Trump is not a politician. He's like me and you. So how would you be with power? You're gonna be heavy-handed. You're gonna use power as how it makes sense to you. We all got different worldviews, but you're gonna use it how it makes sense to you. That's what Trump is doing. You gonna do the same thing. You might not make the same mistakes, but you're gonna use power how it makes sense to you. You ain't gonna be like a politician sitting up there like Joe Biden, having all this power at your access, but you just sitting there. That's what people can't stand. You got all this power and authority, and you ain't do nothing. You could have used ICE to where, from a listen, this is what should have happened. ICE should have been used from a democratic point of view and perspective. As under a Democratic Party, ICE should have went out and it would have been the standard for how ICE should have conducted themselves in the city. ICE came out under Republicans. That's real. That's how you need to hear it. That's how you need to hear it. That's how you need to hear it. They came out under Republicans. The best thing would have been, but see, people didn't see ahead. They didn't think, they didn't know. You know, they should have used Democratic power to navigate ICE the right way, and this is what everybody could have seen as how how ICE should be navigated. The Democrats would have made it. They would have navigated ICE better than what's going on right now. I think so. If it, you know, I'm not talking about necessarily Biden per se, but Democrats would have did a better job at it, and it would have made more sense. It would have looked like, in other words, redneck cops all around the country. How it basically looks, ICE looks like rednecks around the country. If you don't know, you know, maybe you know, you just too much among rednecks to know. Okay, well, to us, it looked like rednecks all around the country. Redneck police. And we know you know what I'm talking about. For the most part, that's how it's starting to look. These jerk cops that we all hate and despise, the worst ones you don't want to run into, that's what all ICE look like and consist of, is these nightmare cops that you don't want to run into. Like a whole bunch of them. Like a whole bunch of these nightmare cops. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like to us. Listen, man, I don't know what you was thinking, amigo. I don't know what you was thinking, amigo. But, you know, this is not a game. Like, you know, Joe Biden was one of the worst presidents. I tell you, he was, because he could have been used ICE. My perspective is that he sat back and watched. He sat back and watched all these illegal migrants come here, and he did nothing about it. He let it pile up, and they just took full advantage of old pushover Joe Biden. They just took full advantage of his administration and just pushed in, knowing Trump was coming. Think about the streets. Think in terms of the streets. They knew Trump was coming. That was the word on the streets. Trump was coming. Get there before Trump comes. That's it. That's all they were doing. They was running in before Trump. I'm just trying to get you to apply street wisdom to this situation. They ran in like Trump is on the way. That's how they ran in. They didn't run in. They weren't confused like, well, I just hear about this stuff about Trump and Biden. I just hear all this stuff. You think they was confused? No. The word on the street is get there before Trump get in office. That was the word on the streets. That's common sense. That's why the surge was so strong. They was getting in there before Trump got in there. They already seen the possibility of Trump, especially when they seen the possibility of Trump. They definitely was doing that. And they definitely was taking advantage of the Biden administration. Pushover and all of that, they took full advantage of it. If Biden would have been in office, getting ICE in position, then Trump, all this situation wouldn't even been like this, and ICE would have been moving a certain way, and they probably wouldn't have did anything too much more differently. And even if they did, we could have called them on the difference. They came in bomb rushing like Trump. That's why now you don't know what to say. Now you don't know if they can act any other way than what we seen. Listen, Biden messed up. Biden should have never been president. He was running for president since 1988. Biden been running for president since 88. he's one of those people that just wanted to be a president. He didn't have the goods. It wasn't cause everybody's telling him, man, yo, you got the goods, man. You should be a president. It wasn't because of that. This is an example of one of them people that make a vocation out of being a president. You can't make a vocation out of being no president. You gotta have the goods. You gotta have it. And if you don't got it, do something else. Because all Biden made it by the skin of his teeth that he's just a laid back, nice guy. That's the only. If he would have bucked any, I don't know if he would have made it. If he would have acted like a jerk, that's the only thing that saved his life. If he would have tripped just a little bit, something could have happened to him. If he would have tripped just a little bit. But what saved him is he was so nice, and he barely responded to Trump. When Trump called him Sleepy Joe Biden and Sleepy Joe, and he just barely even said anything about that. And he tripping over himself, so he fighting ghosts and tripping over himself and falling on the ground, and there's nothing there. People kind of just, he's an old guy, he kind of nice, he ain't really say nothing. And then he was under the Obama administration. That's how he was cool with black people, because we remember he was vice president when Barack Obama was president. So that's how he was kind of good with black people. And Democrats in general, that's how he was good. But you got to look at it, man, for what it is, man. He sat back and made this whole situation fester with these the people coming in illegally to the country. You can't vouch for that. Even criminals, you can't vouch for that. No, because thugs can't even vouch for it, because thugs gonna say they doing crimes that we wouldn't even do. We ain't gonna kill no woman. We ain't gonna try to rape a woman and then kill her. No. That's overkill. Why we gonna do that? No way. I ain't finna tussle and wrestle with the police. They might pull a strap on me. I ain't finna wrestle with the police. I'm gonna be looking for that gun if they do that. I'm gonna be thinking about that gun. That's the whole thing. If I have a tussle with the police, if I have a tussle with the police, all I'm thinking about is him getting to that gun or him pulling that gun. If me and him start wrestling, if me and him get in a wrestle, I'm thinking in terms of that gun he got. Not even if he getting the best of me or whatever. I ain't even thinking about that. And you ain't gonna try to get the best of him, because he might pull that gun on you. You hit him real good, you hit him real hard, he might say, I felt like I was gonna die. He'll say, well, he was hitting me so hard, I felt like I was gonna die. Man, a black man can make you feel that way. Hit you so hard. You remember that one dude? You remember that one kid, young guy at Dunkin' Donuts that killed the white dude? He punched him one time, and this dude wasn't even cock diesel or nothing. A little slim young guy. He hit him one time. Because the dude called him out of his name. I think he called him a racial slur. He called him out of his name, right? In a racist way, right? He hit him one time and killed him. Killed the dude. See, I'm one of them dudes that realize, man, you can get killed for fighting. That's a brute hit to the fake head. That's like something hitting you in the head. It is something hitting you in the head. You fight the wrong dude. Some dudes got their hands registered. They gotta register their hands. Some dudes did so much damage with their hands, bruh. They had to register their hands as weapons. There's some dudes' hands are registered. Some dudes will tell you, man, these hands register, boy. You don't want these hands. These register hands, buddy. They have to look at it as assault. The reason why they do it they register your hands, so when you use them as weapons, because you so deadly with it, right? They looking at it like you gotta have responsibility with your hands. That's basically what it's doing when you register your hands. That's saying you can't just fight somebody. You gotta take responsibility for your hands. Like a weapon. We gonna charge you as assault with a weapon. You gonna get charged with them type of charges now that your hands are registered as a weapon. Yep. Your hands gonna get registered. You do some damage, you do some major damage to somebody, they register your hands, buddy. They can see the damage you can do. They can see the damage you can do, buddy. That young guy hit him one time. I can show you big old dudes that might have hit that dude one time and he wouldn't have died. That dude, if he do get out of prison, I don't think he did life. No, he didn't get life. When he get out, he gonna have to register his hands. If you hit somebody one time, they register in your hands, buddy. Oh, that's the bottom line. Oh yeah. You getting your hands registered. And I imagine if you know how to do some type of martial arts, they gonna register your martial arts. Something like that. So yeah. You do some major damage. The whole thing is how dangerous you are as a body. As you embody a weapon. You are a weapon, right? They have to register you. And the truth is, when it comes to that, really the registry is really your brain. Some people know how to really hurt people. They know exactly what to do. And you know, in that case, they just got to give you hardcore charges. They could, looking at the nature of what you did, you know, they could try to register your hands. They could try that, but these lawmakers know who are dangerous in their mind. People that can hurt you with anything. They can hurt you with anything. They don't need a gun. They can hurt you all kind of ways with all kind of weapons and different things. It's how they think. They can use anything to hurt you. Some people can only have a gun to hurt you. Some people can hurt you with a pen, an ink pen, stab you in your eyes with an ink pen. You know how bad that'll be if somebody stab you in the eyes with an ink pen. You ain't expecting that person pick up an ink pen, talking, you lose your eye. He stabbed you in your eye with an ink pen. You ain't gonna be expecting that. Before you gonna flinch and it's already gonna be too late. You gonna stab in your eye. All you can do is get ready to put your guard up. It's too late. You stab in your eye, they gonna say that's a dangerous person to be able to stab somebody in their eye with a pen and put their eye out. They know you ain't playing no games. You know what I'm saying? It's that's how you get. It's dangerous criminals out there, man. They don't need no gun, no knife, even a knife. They can take an ink pen from like downstairs from the front desk and stab somebody in the eye with it. They can take the edge off of that clipboard and hit you in the eye with it. Take it and use it and hit you in the eye over and over again. That's what I'm saying. They can take that pen and stab you in your eye. You're like, you'll lose your eye. If he's lucky, he can stab you in both eyes. He stab a person in both eyes. But the likelihood is because you're gonna lean down or something like that, or move to the side. He might not be able to do that. But he can take one of your eyes with just an ink pen. I guarantee you ain't gonna want to fight. You ain't gonna want no smoke. See, that's really how a trained assassin should be. You should be so good. Somebody sitting there talking junk. You think about that ink pen. I'm stabbing right in the eyes with that ink pen. See, that's an example of a dangerous mind. You know what I'm saying? And some people will sit there and get beat up, and it was an ink pen right there. Could have stabbed them in the eyes with an ink pen. Dismantled the person right there. So people gotta understand, man. Even when it comes to killing, the illusion is, oh, we can have right to bear arms and all of this and everything. You can talk about bearing arms and everything, and you know, the truth about bearing arms, really, you're not gonna really have enough ammo to really protect yourself against this whole community. So really, guns is just applied to really almost emergency situations, and you're still subject to the government and military to help you, National Guard, because that's just really hands-on situations that you're really able to. That's the whole purpose of having arms, is that if it's at arm's length, I can at least attempt to defend myself. But if it's rockets and rocket launchers and grenades, you out of luck. If the arms is more militia and military by nature, what you gonna do? And then if you have to deal with soldiers, you're not a soldier. What you gonna do? You just got guns. These people are trained. You're just armed. The next level is, not only am I armed, I'm trained. Okay, everybody getting guns these days. You still smoke too much. You don't work out. You can't run. You can't run without losing your breath. You're just people with guns. All these fat people with guns. No disrespect. All these women, man. You gotta get yourself your health together. You know what I'm saying? Because a whole bunch of guns and you can't move around and swivel. You got to make your body swivel, not your head. They say keep your head on the swivel. You got to keep your whole body on the swivel when you at war, buddy. Your whole body got to be on the swivel. Your head can't be just swiveling around. You got a gun, it's just swiveling the head around, got a gun. Keeping your head on the swivel is before the guns come out. Before the guns come out. Now, when the guns come out, you got to keep, your whole body got to get on the swivel. When you dancing with the person, it's like a dance. And if you don't move right, and he does, he can just drop down and shoot you like that, and it's over. You don't get another chance. Well, I almost had him if I would have just did. Too late. It's not a game. That's what I'm saying. And those who survive think in terms of that. Back to what I was saying earlier, individual basis. That's what I was saying earlier. The individual basis aspect, man. You dance. If you got guns, you better learn to dance. And you might need to do that in your room. Just do a little 1, 2, 3 step, how you would do if you was in close quarters with somebody with a gun. Nah, I'm gonna just pull it out and shoot. That's too simple-minded. You gotta have a little shimmy. You gotta be able to swing around and know how to, you know what I mean? You gotta learn how to dance. If I can say anything with all these gun owners, you gotta learn how to dance with your gun. You can't square up. See, Americans, your biggest problem is you taught to square up. Even in a fight, you just sit there and come on, okay, boom, boom. You gotta learn how to dance like a boxer. A boxer learns how to dance. Right or wrong? Yeah, a boxer don't just stand there and square it up pound for pound. You'll be dead. You try to take blows and just stand there and just I'ma just fight him, but square up and fight him. You can't fight like that. You gotta learn to dance and shimmy a little bit. Woo, woo, woo. Stick and move. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with shooting a gun. You gotta learn how to stick and move, buddy. That's why it's sad. So many people get guns, they never learn how to dance. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't gonna live long. No, you ain't. And then if we go out here to war and people outdance you, it's over. And they got more complicated dances. I'm just talking on the subject. Then you got all kind of people know how to do all type of dancing. Do all kind of little cool little dances. Things you thought was corny, but it saved their life. They just turn around, swing around. You looking at all that stuff on it's on the internet right now. Little dudes be doing little dances and shimmies and stuff. You know what I'm talking about? And y'all think, oh, that's corny. I ain't gonna never have to do no stuff like that. What you mean? See, you didn't understand what it was all about. The dancing and the shimmying is all about catching my enemy off guard and getting the way in. Okay, if I do a little shimmy, a little dance, whoop whoop. He didn't expect that. If I pull a gun and he run this way, I run that way, I can just drop totally down and shoot him on the ground and it's over. You can do that. He ain't gonna expect that. He gonna be confused. He gonna think you failed. The average person gonna think you failed. But you're on point to before he could even make a response to that, because you already still on point. You did it on purpose, right? It's gonna take him 2 seconds to respond to try to shoot you on the ground. By that time, you did it with purpose. You'd have shot him in the first second. You could just drop down. Oh, yeah, what's up? You pull the gun out. You fall down, but you gotta know what you're doing. You shoot him like that. You aim and pop, 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 pop. It's over, bro. Ain't no way he gonna be able to shoot you right. And you on the ground. He ain't gonna be able to do it. Because most people not used to it. They used to squaring up, even with guns. They pull out a gun, he right there, I'm right there, I shoot up. Watch how people square up with each other. That's the mistake that Americans make. I don't square up with nobody. If I got a knife, whatever I got, I don't square up. Square up, I can easily size that up. If you do a shimmy in a dance, I don't know what's coming. I don't know what you about to do. You got knives in your hand, and you say, what's up? You do a little shimmy, it's over. Before you even know it, neck cut, everything, it's over, bro. You're gonna bleed out. It's over. Better get to the ambulance. It's all about the dance. See, that's the next level. Once you get strapped, the next level is you gotta learn to dance. Because you might be in the car, you might be chilling in front of a restaurant. You gotta know how to dance in every situation. So dudes might come up there shooting across the parking lot, everything. You gotta know how to dance, get out of harm's way and everything. Not just duck. You gotta be like a soldier. You gotta know duck for cover, run for cover, go on the side of the building, shoot anything coming your way. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get away, way in the back. Once you go on the side of the building, go in the back and then turn the corner where you way over in the corner somewhere. He ain't gonna know because, and most Americans are just so used to squaring up, they ain't even prepared. They play video games like Call of Duty. I know about Call of Duty. Yeah, I used to play, my stepdad used to love Call of Duty, so every time I'm around him, I sit there, this is in the past, we sit there, smoke weed, and he play Call of Duty. So I know about Call of Duty and everything. So you learn to dance from Call of Duty. You learn to dance. If you don't get nothing from Call of Duty, you learn to dance, right? You learn to shimmy and dance and spin around and move around and shoot your enemy before they shoot you. You gotta learn to do that in the real world. And a lot of people never get a chance because, they just get strapped and then they just smoke weed and hang out with the homies and they just got strapped and they never learned to dance. That's why they're an easy target. You're still an easy target because you didn't learn to dance. You didn't learn to dance on this different situation. Then you got militias, these white boys, these racist white boys learn to dance. They got guns, they got AKs, they got all kind of guns. So if it was a race war, most black people are not ready because we ain't in good health. We don't get trained by militias, and we don't learn to dance with our guns. Like if you got, and this is no disrespect, if you got these thick girl, big booty girls, the truth is, your butt is so big, you can't dance with the guns. You just gonna square up. That's all you thinking in your mind. I'm gonna pull this gun and square up. You ain't gonna say the square up part, but you think, you think I'm gonna pull this gun and get to work. Unless if you're dealing with a dancer, you in trouble. He run around like that and run around you like that, and you ain't used to like somebody moving around. You ain't used to moving targets. It's over. He gonna get you. He gonna beat you. And see, these big booty girls, you gotta listen. If you're a real soldier, you gotta slim down, boo. Okay, sexually, sexually, dudes gonna say it's great, sexually. But if you holding straps, you talking about being a soldier out here, you gotta lose a little bit of that booty, buddy. At least, I'm gonna put it like this, at least you gotta go work out with it to be able to run with it. If you can run with it now, you can run with that booty. You can run with that big butt. Okay, now, if you can run with that big butt, okay, that's a different situation. But if you can't, I'm talking about real soldiers, man. You just a girl with a big butt, and you gonna square up, pull out a gun, square up, and somebody dance on you, it's over. You lost, you lose. You don't get a second chance. You don't get a second chance to dance or to outdance somebody. That's why, see, it's survival of the fittest. You don't get no second chance to outdance nobody. That's why everybody be frantic like that and be shooting around like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they realize that you don't get no second chance to dance around. You know, if you just some person that just hold the scrap, you know what I'm saying? Okay, everybody got scrap, so you on the next level where everybody got weapons and everything. Now you on that level. The next level past that is who can dance and who can't. And the best gonna be at it on the streets is those who rob people. They gonna be better. They gonna be better because they used to dancing. You know what I'm saying? But if you just going around spraying, shooting guns, you gonna be a casualty pretty soon. But you know, the best out there is gonna be those who rob people because they got more. They learn to be more fluid with a gun, with a strap, moving around, running around. You know what I'm saying? But if you just pull out guns on people and everything, some robbers might do that. They might just pull out guns on people and just don't even dance at all. You know, but sometimes, you know, a lot of robbers learn to dance. You know, swing around on somebody, stuff like that. That even helps. Learn to swing around on somebody, maneuver through nooks and crannies, and know how to move around and pay attention and try to get the best of somebody. See, people don't think in terms of those things. They just think about squaring up. I got a strap and I'm gonna square up. They got straps too. So now it's the next level. Okay, nobody ain't scared of you because you got a strap. Because you strapped up. Ain't nobody scared of you because you got a strap, right? Okay, so then you gotta learn, the next level is, okay, then I'm gonna learn to dance. I'm gonna be the best dancer out here. I'm gonna be fast, I'm gonna be quick, I'm gonna learn to you know, navigate where people just gonna be bugged out. Like, they ain't gonna even know they ain't gonna be used to my dance style. That's what you do. You get a unique dance style that really works. Man, it's over with, man. That's the best soldiers. See, I don't even know how to train soldiers. You get your own unique dance style that work for you. With your guns, you gotta get a dance style. You gotta learn to dance. You can't be one of them dudes walking around with doo-doo in your butt. You know, your pants off your butt. You ain't got no belt on. A professional shooter gonna always keep a belt. I ain't gonna never be walking around with no belt. I can't walk around. I'll go and spend my last dollars on a belt. And if you an armed man, that's how you gotta think. I can't walk around here with no belt. How am I have a gun in my waistband? Huh? How am I walk around with I gotta be coordinated. I gotta walk around with rhythm. I gotta be able to run if I got to. And you can't be scared to run. Running don't mean you scared. You running for cover. You gotta be that type of soldier too, and without thinking that you're scared or without getting scared, you gotta run and still be able to focus on killing this person. You know, stuff like that. You gotta think like that. You gotta be like that. See, I can train soldiers, man. That's why they hate me, cause I'm real, bro. Like you, but white boys can do it, and it's not a threat. They can go be white malicious, and they don't get no threat. They ain't no threat to the community or nothing. Let a black man talk in terms of a militia and everything. Oh, he a threat, cause they already know they enemies. They know they done us wrong. That's why, and they feel like they can only be inclined to be against us, cause how we did them. That's the real truth. You already know we enemies. I should be your enemy. If I get, if I become dangerous, you're gonna be the first in line that I take care of. That's what you think about. But that's you being a coward and you being scary. You know what I'm saying? A black man, I'm gonna defend I'm gonna learn to be trained to protect myself first and foremost from anybody, not just you, anybody. And like I said, you don't get a second chance to dance, buddy. You know what I'm saying? If you really a soldier, and especially if you causing drama out here, if you out here causing drama, you better learn to dance. That's for these women. If you out here causing drama, you better learn to dance, buddy. That means you can have all the guns in the world, but if you pull that gun out and that dude can outdance you, you're done. You're absolutely done. You're not coming back from it. You're not coming back from that. So, man, so I'm just keep coming back on this stuff, man. I'm keep coming back on it.